All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases. Tokyo Brandon, I said after Thursday when I got that improbable walk-off ultimate Grand Slam winner on the Twins that I wasn't going to complain about bad luck for a while. So you know what? I, I'm not even going to bring it up. I'm not going to bring up the fact that the Pirates had a 7-5 lead or that Nick Gonzalez threw a ball away that I think at age 40, I still make that play in my sleep, probably 10 times out of 10. So since I'm not going to bring any of that up, I've got nothing to talk about. My only play was the Pirates yesterday, and it lost. I hope your Friday went better than mine.
It did not, because I was on the same game as you.
Oh, God.
So I lost the Pirates. And actually, Foster Griffin looked awful as well. As so did a lot of good pitchers looked pretty bad yesterday. I backed Foster Griffin. I lost that. So I went 0-2 in MLB yesterday. But I won the KBO tonight. I had Kiwoom's team total in the first five, and the 1.5 is ridiculous. Kiwoom's actually hitting pretty good, so won that one. So yeah, still a losing day. Not happy, but technically the KBO play starts off August, so
Yep.
I start off August with a win at least. Some solace there.
Yeah,
Always
that
looking
was
the
just
bright side. And I'm not satanic, by the way. Everyone's saying I'm satanic. I went to a Buddhist temple yesterday to pray for a good August. So if I'm satanic, then so be it. Check out my X, though. I put pictures of the temple up there. So that's proof.
Yeah, I think people confuse. I think you were just talking about your overall aura yesterday was a death
Yeah.
metal vibe. And today you
Yes.
look like you're ready to go on a safari. So, it's the many looks of Tokyo Brandon here.
Many looks of me. Yes. No rest for the wicked.
Tokyo Brandon, we'll get right into it. Like I said, we'll put yesterday behind us. Like my only play was the Pirates. Sorry if you jumped on the 5%er. I feel like going into the 8th inning up 7-5, it felt pretty good about it, even with Skeens having a bad start, but it wasn't to be. So we're back at it today. We're going to kick things off here with Yankees Cubs. You can find this game on national TV tonight in the States on Fox TV. I rolled up in my Scranton Wilkes-Barre hat for two reasons. One, I still haven't got a haircut, so it's hats for till further notice. And two, this is the AAA affiliate of the Yankees, and when I pulled up the lineups yesterday, that looked like a AAA lineup for the Yankees. I talked about it on the show that I thought it was going to be, it's been pretty bad of late ever since Cody Bellinger got hurt. But that was the worst one I think they've put out yet. I was going to throw shade at Ahmed Rosario hitting in the 3-hole, and he hit one 450. He hit a 450-foot home run. That was the sort of the big hit of the game. That being said, it wasn't the offense that got it done yesterday for the Yankees. They still did not look good offensively. They were just fortunate that the Cubs couldn't do anything against Will Warren. So low scoring game, as we, kind of talked about and expected it to be on the show. And the projections say it should be lower scoring or the similar game today, because you got the wind blowing in and you've got Max Fried on the mound for the Yankees. How do you look like it's Max Fried, but it's a bad lineup? And I'm really having trouble with this game. So talk to me, Yankees Cubs.
Well, normally the only way the Yankees can win a game right now is to keep the score low, right? Wouldn't you agree with that? I mean, yesterday's 2-0. Pretty much the only way they could win, right? With that lineup. So yeah. Today I'm kind of thinking the same way, but looking at how the pitchers face each other, I think their surface stats can be a little misleading, because I like David Peterson a lot more than I like Max Fried here. I got the Cubs ranked number 1 in MLB in hitting, and I got the Yankees ranked 26th. Bullpen-wise, I got the Cubs huge advantage here as well, ranked 9, and the Yankees ranked 17. That's current form. It doesn't mean that the Cubs bullpen is necessarily better than the Yankees, because the Yankees do have some good arms. But starting pitcher, yes, I do have Max Fried ranked higher than David Peterson, but I think the hitting discrepancy that we've referred to is just too much. I think Max Fried is enough to keep it close in the first 5, but his numbers against these Cubs are not great. I mean, they're okay, But Peterson's numbers against these Yankee batters are really good. A 560 OPS and 65 at-bats against. I realize his ERA, his surface stats are not very good, but I have a feeling he can keep this game close enough in the fifth. When Max Fried goes out, I think the Cubs will take the game over. That's how I see this. I think the Cubs bounce back, and that would be the only way I would go. Look at Max Fried's last few outings. It's rare that he finishes 6 innings these days. I don't know if he's still lingering from an injury or something, but he's not going deep into games. And I think once he comes out, it's going to be a real liability for the Yankees. This is how I see this one shaking out.
Yeah, so he did recently come back from injury. I will say that this is, so someone in the chat asked if the wind was blowing out. I do see some wind blowing out. I wish we had Brian here because he would tell you like the exact miles per hour and what the extent of the wind is. I'm sorry, wind blowing in. That's what I meant to say, wind blowing in. It looks like there is going to be some wind in today. I think the 6.5 total would suggest that that's probably the case as well. Though I also think the 6.5 total has something to do with the fact that you've got Max Fried on the mound for the Yankees, who's the perception is he's the ace, or he's one of the, he's one of the, at full strength, if he's fully healthy, he's the ace of that staff. And then, of course, I think the books are seeing what I'm seeing. I mean, that Yankee lineup the last couple of days, which is going to be the same thing today, on paper is really bad. Like that is you can't have, I mean, it's 2026. We can't have Ahmed Rosario hitting third. And then you look at the bottom of that order, it's all like 600 OPS guys. Yep. And then even yesterday in the Yankee win, 2 runs on 4 hits. Like they were just fortunate enough that 2 of those hits, Spencer Jones and Rosario, both left the yard. Go back to the day before, they didn't score a run in regulation against the White Sox. They scored 1 run, and it was in the 10th inning once they had the ghost runner. So it is really hard to ask for runs from the Yankees right now. But then you bring up like David Peterson. Yeah, he's had a good run against them when he was part of the Mets. Remember, Yankees Mets is always kind of a big deal. I feel like he probably is, would get up for that game during his career. But like Peterson is an odd case because, of course, he gets traded mid-season. Was having a terrible year for the Mets. He was on pace to have one of the worst sort of seasons he's had in recent seasons in his career. And then he shows up to the Cubs, gives up 10 runs in a start against the Cardinals, 10 runs in 3 2/3. But since that game, he's been really good. So it's like, I don't really trust Peterson, but at the same time, I kind of think if he can navigate Cardinals, Orioles, Tigers, he should be able to get outs against this putrid Yankee lineup. Agreed. And it's also, he's a lefty. So, the one guy in this Yankee lineup, as you talked about yesterday, Brent Rice, who's like the one stud that the Yankees have right now. He's always going to be better against right-handed pitching. So you get a lefty and maybe you neutralize Rice a little bit. I feel like the books did kind of get this right. I think they're trying to bait you into taking Fried a little bit here, but I think I'm with you, Tokyo Brandon. I think overall the Cubs at plus money make more sense. So that is a very slight lean. I don't know if I'll have any action in this game.
And the Cubs team total is 2.5. Come on. I mean, I think the books are overvaluing 2 things in this game. Number one, overvaluing Max Fried a little bit. He's a good pitcher, no doubt about it. He used to be elite. I don't know if he's the elite anymore. And I think they're overvaluing this wind thing. Yeah, okay, the wind's blowing, but you don't have to hit home runs to score. So
yes.
2.5 for the Cubs. That seems a little ridiculous to me. Granted, they're at home, and if they're winning, they won't bat in the 9th inning, but still, 2.5 seems a little ridiculous to me.
Yeah, D. Cerna, you're right. Line makers begging you to take Yankees, and the totals, I mean, they're juicing the under here. Under 6.5 is minus 120. My number projection is like 6.85 runs in this game. But that's not nearly enough to take it over 6.5. Although, like, again, I wouldn't if a ball, if you have one big inning with a crooked number, there's a good chance that you're going to get over 6.5. But I got to be honest, I just don't. I think you're right. I think if this offense comes in this game and it's higher scoring, it's going to be because the Cubs got to Fried, not really the other way around. So I think,
Exactly.
but like you're saying, the run projections, you can get a 2.5 with the Cubs, whereas most places are going to make you take a 3.5 with the Yankees. So yeah, team total Cubs over 2.5, lay minus 140. That's not a terrible look either. So yeah, good call there. All right, let's go to the chat. TB, you nailed this one yesterday. The Guardians choked for the parlay. Unfortunately, they had a 1-0 win or 1-0 lead. Our pal Brian Power was there. I thought he was going to grind that home for us, but they gave it up late because your leg of the parlay got home pretty easily. Brewers, you kind of said that would be no sweat, and it really was no sweat. 6-2 final. So I'm going to let you kick this one off. Alex Rand says thoughts on Angels Brewers. That line made me scratch my head. Yeah, I looked at this and thought that price was a little cheap on the Brewers. Are you heading back to the well with Milwaukee here?
Milwaukee is probably one of the best put together teams. They're kind of like the Rays. We touched on it yesterday. But Gasser's on the mound against Soriano. Soriano started the season just elite. But he's tailed off a little bit. I still have him ranked a little bit higher than Gasser. I got him ranked 13 on a curve of 30, where I got Gasser 17. But yeah, I mean, the one thing that the Milwaukee is not doing well right now is their bullpen. I got their bullpen ranked 22 in current form, so their bullpen's not really performing well. And we've talked about this on previous shows. The Angels' bullpen's performing quite well these days, which they've never been known for that. But I think this one will be decided with the hitting, and the Brewers are hitting number 5, and they're not exactly a long ball team, and they're still producing runs at a really high clip. Just a well put together team, top to bottom. Got the Angels ranked 21 in hitting. One thing about Gasser, my expected numbers about him are regarding him are not great. Again, have him ranked 17 on a curve of 30, which is slightly below mediocre, but he's not walking anybody. And when you have control and command like that against a pretty poor lineup, I mean, we've discussed that the Angels are similar to a AAA team as well, without Trout there. I think it's Brewers or nothing. I just don't see a path to victory for the Angels here, even though they have the better starting pitcher. I'm not going to play it though.
Yeah, I mean, so Mike Trout right now went 0 for 4 last night. He's obviously still Mike Trout, still has an 843 OPS on the season. But outside of that, I mean, this is not a good lineup. And you make the point, TB, and I agree with you. The Brewers are as well put together of a baseball team as you will find in this league. Like they are the gold standard right now, or one of, the gold standard obviously being the Dodgers, but it's almost not even fair because the Dodgers have all the resources in the world. The Brewers don't have, they have half the resources the Dodgers have, and yet they've won more games. So right now, the Brewers have won more games since the beginning of last season than any other team in Major League Baseball. And it's because they do everything for the most part right. They develop talent. It's a great roster top to bottom. Then you get into the game, they get on base. They got guys that have team speed, right? Like Terrain gets on, he's stealing, like they hit behind the runner. They're just an elite baseball team. And the funny thing is, they're playing right now the team that's arguably the worst put together team in Major League Baseball. I don't know that you'll find a worse put together team than the Los Angeles Angels. Just from and yes, they've had some bullpen arms kind of come out of the woodwork and make them at least tolerable for a little bit, but they're 42-68. This lineup is complete train wreck, just atrocious lineup. The pitching, the Angels haven't had collectively good pitching in over a decade. One of the worst when it comes to development pitching, putting together a rotation. And so, yeah, once if you can get past the whole, okay, Jose Soriano's the ace of this staff, right? And he's got good numbers. He's having a good season. 123 innings, over a strikeout per inning, mid-3 ERA, a low whip. He's having a nice season. Aside from that, there is not one single other redeeming quality for the Angels in this matchup. Not one. And so if you trust Robert Gasser, which I happen to, I've always, his sort of progress got derailed by a pretty big injury. But like, this is a guy that, like, coming through the, former first rounder, coming through the Brewers organization, was very, very highly rated, like, going to be in the rotation type guy. So I think it's just a little bit later that he's sort of blossoming because of, a pretty big injury that cost him about a season. So I'm probably higher on Gasser than the market. This seems so square and so easy to do, but like, Brewers minus 117 makes all the sense in the world here. Like, I simply don't understand how you can make a case for the Angels in this spot.
I mean, you got the Brewers 32-21 on the road, Angels 24-32 at home. I mean, 68 win team against a 42 win team. I mean, it seems easy. You're right. A lot of things seem easy, but they bite you in the butt. But
yeah, like,
I mean, they're just well put together. They just are.
This is what I would expect the price to be if the Brewers were sending like a marginal questionable starting pitcher out there. Like, this is what I would expect the line to be if the Brewers had some average starting pitcher that might get blown up. And I'm not saying Gasser is not, like, couldn't potentially have a bad day, but he's got one of the top hard hit rate, 95th percentile in hard hit allowed, which means lowest hard hit allowed. No one's squaring him up, and he doesn't walk anyone. The only thing he's real guilty of is he's another one of these extreme fly ball guys. But this isn't a park that's just like the easiest to hit the ball out of. So yeah, Brewers make a lot of sense.
Another thing, I think the books are looking at the fact that Gasser has a 1.5 higher ERA and a losing record, where Soriano has a winning record. That's probably what they're looking at, just the surface numbers. Possibly. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate here. And I'm not satanic. By the way, guys, you can get a double play, 2 of us 3, for 3 days, all access, including 5% plays. It's a great deal. And if you only like one of us, you can get what's called a triple play, which is 6 days for the price of 3. So go to wagertalk.com and get some of those deals if you like any of us, which you should, because that's why you're watching.
Stoke, you're probably not wrong about that. Like, this is probably the Angels' best chance to win in this series because, of course, tomorrow is Jacob Mizorowski against Walbert Arena. But you know what? The Angels are 42-68. There's a good chance they don't win in this series at all. And, like, would anyone be surprised if the Angels don't win a single game in this series? There are 26 games under 500. So, again, not
too. I mean, that's kind of a bright spot for them, I guess.
Unfortunately for the Angels, he's going to be up against Mizorowski. Because Arena would give them an advantage against most opponents. But yeah, yeah. All right, let's head back to the chat. Let's go grab another game here.
Yep.
Yeah, Sean, the Brewers, listen, the Brewers have failed in the playoffs, but this isn't the playoffs. This is August. This is when they eat.
Yeah.
This is
the Brewers to win today. Yeah.
And they do, like, that's the thing. You want to take a look at the Dodgers and the Brewers. Like, the Brewers care about the regular season. They're trying to win the division. They want a good seed in the playoffs. The Dodgers are just like, wake us up when it's time for the playoffs. So I guess it's a good segue, TB. I feel like because it's not on national television, we didn't. Yeah, the Dodgers Red Sox kind of fell through the cracks yesterday on yesterday's show, and I do feel like we can't have a Red Sox Dodgers series without giving it a little love at some point. So let's head out west. This is a night game. This will be one of the late games tonight. Good rally from the Red Sox last night. They came from behind and ended up winning convincingly. They've maintained being hot. After that 15-game winning streak, I thought we might see the Red Sox fall off a little bit. They've played pretty good ball since then. And getting the opener of this series is massive because, this was a tough series for them. And now they know they have to face Yamamoto tonight. So kind of a huge win for the Red Sox, getting it done 9-4, the big 7-run or the big 5-run 7th inning. But now they get the Dodgers ace, Peyton Tolle, Yamamoto for the Dodgers. How do you see this one?
Yeah, the Red Sox have played pretty good. I'm actually surprised because I thought they were just going to kind of, crawl away and die, but they did not, and they're playing some pretty inspirational baseball right now. Looking at their bullpen's ranked number 2 according to my numbers in the MLB. Hitting is top 10, and Peyton Tolly's looked pretty good. No real sample size for head-to-head numbers here regarding the starting pitchers. Just too small sample size to make anything of it. But in his last 4 starts, he's only given up 7 runs in 4 starts. Pretty good. So no complaints there. Dodgers, on the other hand, hitting top 10 as well. So we got 2 top 10 hitting teams in current form. But Yamamoto's just a star. Surprisingly, though, his stats are much better on the road than they are at home, which is kind of odd. You don't really expect that, because I don't think LA media market is really that much pressure, like a pressure cooker like it is in New York City. However, he does have a 3+ ERA at home. So looking at this, yeah, I mean, hard to bet against the Dodgers, but I might. This looks like a real neck and neck kind of game to me. I might take Boston plus the 1.5 maybe. Haven't done it yet, but I think yes, the Dodgers are the better team, 69 wins versus 58, and they're a great home team as well. Boston is 33-22 on the road, though. I mean, they're playing really well. I like Tolly. I would take Boston plus the 1.5, perhaps. I think plus 141 is a little bit disrespectful the way the Boston's playing right now. So, or I'd take first 5 innings plus the half run maybe with Boston, because I think this is going to be a neck and neck, pretty tight game.
TBI, 1000% agree. That's exactly how I see this game. I wish I was hoping Yamamoto would get even more love. He usually gets love from the odds makers, and no surprise. I mean, he's one of the deserves it. He's one of the best pitchers in the league on one of the best teams in the league. You have to wonder if the Red Sox coming out and winning 9-4 last night sort of shorten the number here a little bit. I too think the Red Sox plus 1.5 is a really good angle. I was hoping it was 10 to 15 cents cheaper. If you could have got that down, Red Sox plus 1.5, minus 135 or minus 130, I'd probably be all over that. Fully agree with your handicap here. Listen, Yamamoto is, I mean, we know he's great, right? But like Peyton Tolly, why can't he match Yamamoto here? His numbers are almost just as good. 1.11 whip. All of the underlying stuff for Tolly. He's top 10% expected ERA, top 10% batting average against. He's got a top 10% chase rate. I mean, he's a really sort of turning into I think he is the future ace, whether it's in Boston or somewhere else. This guy throughout his career, that's his ceiling, is being the ace of someone's pitching staff. And he's already starting to pitch like it right now. And then the final thing I'll agree with you on, I think you made a great point. Yeah, the Red Sox are playing inspired baseball. They care. You've got Jaron Duran getting on his teammate for not running. Like, they're fired up. They're getting after each other. Like, they want to win games. And, this was a Red Sox fan base for 2 months, 3 months that couldn't have, my sister lived in Boston for 15 years. I used to be out in Boston quite a bit. And I follow the Red Sox closely because of that. Been to a million games at Fenway. And like, the one thing about the Red Sox and their fans, more often than not, they back their team, right? Whereas like you talked about, like New York, it's very, what have you done for me lately? And, the media will trash them pretty quickly. Whereas I feel like Boston Red Sox fans are almost like delusional that their team every year is just really, really good. And like, this is the first year I can remember so much backlash where it was like, fire the team or sell the team. They want Henry to sell the team. They hated everything about this team for 3 months. And like now, like all of a sudden the fans are completely back in. That win streak brought everyone back. And like, yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of juice behind this Red Sox team. They seem to like each other. The team as it seemed to, man, I don't know if like each other is the right term, but like if you watch the body language, they're fired up every game. They were fired up to win last night, and they may just out effort the Dodgers here, who we've talked about this how many times, right? Like The Dodgers are just kind of like, they show up at the ballpark. They know they're going to go to the playoffs already. They know they're going to get by just on sheer talent alone. Like, I couldn't lay a number with this Dodgers team very often, especially not against a guy like Peyton Tolley, and especially not against a team like the Red Sox who are playing really good ball. So, yeah, find a way to bet the Red Sox here. And I like that +1.5 angle, TB. That may be my parlay lay. We'll circle back.
When you have that good, when your bullpen's playing that well, you always have a chance. If you can keep it close for 6 innings, you always have a shot. And Patriot fans, Boston Red Sox fans, they're like that. You know, when Tom Brady was the quarterback, everyone was a Patriots fan, and now they don't even go to the games. So this is Boston.
Now, correct take by Mark here. Red Sox and Cubs. Those are that's just two of us. You know, you're not going to find more loyal fan bases that like show out pretty much no matter what. Good year, bad year, and that's why it was so crazy to see the like John Henry Red Sox sentiment earlier this year, because like you just don't really see that. All right, let's go to the. Okay. All right. Listen, Ozzy, appreciate you. I have a 4%er up, you know, didn't go my way. My play didn't go my way last night, but I feel like we're going to get it back today. TB, I feel like every day you and I switch spots, jockeying for position, although I think we're both chasing Ski now. I believe his 5% WNBA won last night, but props to him. We're going to continue to, you know, root for him. Loved seeing, like, 2 people messaged me and they were like, I bought Ski's WNBA play and it won. I was like, yeah, there you go. So hopefully that was my contribution yesterday, since my MLB play was not a good contribution yesterday. But I do have a 4% play up, and you can get that and whatever Tokyo Brandon has for sale and whatever Brian has for sale on the double play package. It's 2 of the 3 people on this show, and you get it at a pretty big discount. So check that out on both of our pages, and let's get back to games. Freebird, coming to you. Much appreciate the donations, and we got a nice compliment from our bosses that our show brings in far more donations than anyone else. So we take pride in that. Again, goes to a great cause, and you know, it gets your chat prioritized, so we see it, and then we'll come in and read it and try to hit your game. So Freebird says, great show. Can we discuss game totals after having 11 straight unders and 6 overs out of the last 25 games? So I think this is a really interesting point. I'll try to tie it into a game, TB, because I saw this getting some run on Twitter yesterday. Like, people trying to figure out why there are so many unders. My take on it is the All-Star break occurs and all these pitchers get rest. And then, like, hitting is so much about timing that, like, I just don't think having a week off in the middle of the season is great for a hitter. Whereas I think it's great for pitchers, because remember, every starting pitcher has 5 days of rest between starts anyway. And listen, when back in the steroid era, when guys were doing steroids and people were like, why are all these pitchers doing steroids? Well, very simple. Steroids help you recover. And that was the thing. Like, that's the thing. When pitchers, you get to like August, and now you're starting to approach 100 innings, 110, 120 innings. It's harder to recover from start to start. So I think having a week off in the middle of the season is a huge benefit to pitching. And I think that's why you're seeing some lower scoring games right now. Does it mean it's going to continue? Probably not. Hitters, you know, we're now about a week 10 days out of the All-Star break. Hitters are going to start to get their timing back, and then it's the middle of summer, and the ball's going to start flying. So that's my take on it. I could be right. I could be wrong. Who knows? TV, anything to make of the low-scoring games in Major League Baseball the last few days?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Pitching is all about mechanics and your mental game, where hitting is all about your timing. And if you're a gamer and you play if you play video games and the game that you play is predicated on your timing and when you push that button, try not playing your video game for 5 days and play it once when you come back, and your timing will be way off. And that's what we're seeing with the hitters right now. I totally agree with you.
Let's get Grant's dad in here. He says sending Brian the best. Yep, we can't wait till Brian is back. I think he's traveling. Well, he should be back Monday or Tuesday. Whenever he gets home from Ohio, he will be back on the show. So we wish him the best. Hope him safe travels back to Vegas. Since Grant's dad never throws a game out there, I'm just always going to assume he wants to talk about the Marlins. He's a South Florida guy. He's a Marlins fan. He's got that great Florida Marlins logo as his avatar there. One of the best. I'll say it every time I see his thing. Still mad about them changing that logo. That was one of the best uniforms, one of the best color templates. They actually, TV, still wear, just this year, they've brought back wearing the old teal Marlins jerseys on Sundays at home, which I absolutely love. They're not at home here. They're up in New York to continue a pretty big series as it pertains to, well, for the Marlins. I don't know if the Mets are sniffing a wild card this year, but it's a big series for the Marlins. Citi Field tonight, Marlins Mets. The Marlins lost the opener of this series, but bounced back last night with a 5-2 win. So this is the third game of the 4-game set. Tyler Phillips, Zach Thornton. How do you see Marlins Mets?
Yeah, before I do that, let me shamelessly plug myself. I have 3 plays in MLB today, which you can get as part of the double play. So grab 2 of us, maybe Adam and me, Adam and myself. And also Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, I'm going to cover every MLB game to fill the gap that very few sports or MLB shows on Sunday. I guess everyone's going to church or something. But I'm Buddhist, so there's no church on Sunday. So I'll cover the games for you, 9 a.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel. So check that out. Shameless plug is finished. Let's get on to this game. I think the Mets will bounce back here. I'm all for the Mets today. I know that they looked very bad earlier. No Soto. Seems kind of ouch. But their lineup's actually still producing, at least at a mediocre level, where Miami is way below mediocre, according to my numbers. The Mets bullpen is performing really well, despite taking on the Yankee trash arms that they took from them last year. Those trash arms are performing a lot better with the Mets than they were with the Yankees. So, including Nuke Weaver. He's pitching pretty well, actually. So this bullpen, pretty good. I got Miami's bullpen ranked 21, and I like Thornton better than Phillips. Phillips has a nice ERA, but his expected number's not so good, and his whip is a little bit up there. Not a huge sample size for either one of these pitchers, so a little bit of an X factor there, but I like Thornton better than Phillips from what I've seen. So it would be Mets or nothing for me. I just hope they can scrape in a few runs because it looks like it's going to be a low-scoring game as well.
Yeah, I'm starting to come around a little bit more on Thornton. I mentioned him his last start, and I mentioned how I watched Adam Ottavino on TikTok break down his previous start and talk about how he felt like Thornton got away with some less competitive pitches in the Brewers start, where he was breaking down his stuff and he was pointing out, okay, like this pitch. He was lucky to not give up a double, right? It was lucky to not have this pitch hit out of the ballpark. Yeah, that's actually something I think is pretty cool. Every morning on TikTok, Adam Ottavino, former big league reliever, goes live and really detailed breaks down pitchers from the night before. And I watched him do Thornton, and I was like very impressed with the things he pointed out, because remember, he was breaking down a start where Zach Thornton threw 6 shutout innings against the Brewers. And it was almost like, okay, like this is okay, that's nice, but like his stuff probably wasn't as good as that score line would suggest. Last time out, Thornton works into the 7th inning and gives up 3 runs against the Braves. So, I watched that game. I thought he was pretty good, but the sample size is still fairly small, where like I just don't know that I'm fully buying the hype, which there is hype now, because now we're looking at Zach Thornton for his last 4 starts, right? So he has his major league debut on May 20th on a one-off, gets sent back down, and then comes up and has rattled off 4 straight quality starts since being recalled and inserted into the starting rotation. Phillies, 6 innings, 1 run, really good. Red Sox, 7 shutout. Brewers, 6 shutout. And then last time out, 3 runs over 6 1/3 against the Braves. Could it continue today? Yeah, probably it could, because you know what? The Marlins, they'd much rather face right-handed pitching. This Marlins team is much better against right-handed pitching. So that's a little bit of a concern because, of course, Thornton is a lefty. But I kind of my gut still says to sell him at what I feel is his peak. So I might look toward the over here because I don't really want to back Thornton, but I don't really want to play against him either, because I don't know that this is the best spot. And I know I contradicted myself a little bit, TV, by saying that the Marlins they don't hit it as well against left-handed pitching, but it's a full game. So this, they obviously going to have 9 innings. Thornton's last few starts have all been long outings. My gut says this is a gut call right here. My gut says that he's probably not throwing another shutout, and he's probably not going quite as deep as he's gone in his last 4 outings. And if the Marlins can get him out in the 5th or so, and the Mets can generate a little offense as well, if you can get like an 8.5, I don't know what this is. I think I'm seeing some reduced juice 9s and some 8.5s. I think that's a reasonable overplay. And so that's, again, I don't have a great handicap for this one, but I think I land on the over if forced.
Let me address just 2 comments very quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Take a lot of time, but one person in there said, Mark Lambert, muscles don't always equate success. Consider Lorenzen of Rockies, but steroids are not exactly muscle builders per se. They're actually tissue healers is what they are. A lot of the pitchers take steroids to heal faster, not exactly to get, roided up, so to speak. So that's one thing to consider. And then forgot the other comment, so we'll forget about it.
and the one thing
I wanted to address that real quick.
But the one thing
David
in your
Henderson said he's in a game in Korea today. Is he at a KBO game? Crazy stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
David Edgington. Yeah. Anyways,
that's something I gotta do that at some point. I gotta get out to Korea.
Me
to
too.
Go to KBO.
Never been to the KBO before.
And the one thing I meant to agree with you and kind of got sidetracked, but I too am starting to cool on Tyler Phillips as a starter. I think he kind of filled a void back in June. The Marlins were hot, and I feel like he was this bulk guy that the Marlins sort of decided, okay, now you're going to start games for us, and it went really well. At this point, I just don't know that he's a guy I want out there going 3 times through an order. And so again, I'm with you, TB. He's not the guy I really want to back in this Marlins rotation. I actually feel like the Marlins still have guys at AAA that would be better for the rotate. I still think Braxton Garrett should be in this rotation. I'm not sure why he's not. And so, yeah, I can't really disagree with the Mets play. If I had to, I'd be on the over. All right, let's move on. D. Cerna, let's talk Giants Padres. I got this one wrong yesterday. I made a case for Carson Wisenhunt, and the Giants never had a chance in that game. The final score was 7-0. The Padres got runs early, 2 runs in the first inning. They got to Wisenhunt for 6 runs over 3 1/3 and 7 hits. So swing and a miss for me right there on that handicap. With that being said, I still kind of have my same handicap here, TB, where I still think the Giants as an underdog makes some sense. So the question to you is, do you like this matchup better for the Giants, or is it going to be more of the same?
Okay, I'm getting corrected on the steroids. So anabolic steroids, yes, are for muscle. That's correct. And Mark Lambert says he's done plenty of cycle 1 worthless exercise science. Okay, thanks for your comments, guys. I appreciate that. So getting to San Francisco, San Diego, man, you picked the worst game out of all of these to pick because I have no idea, to be honest. San Diego grades better at almost everything except starting pitching in this one. Despite his 3-win, 9-loss record, Tyler Mahle, I got him ranked very mediocre, right at 15 on a scale of 30. And Walker Buehler's looked terrible, but he has a winning record. So there's just so many conflicting, weird stuff. Add to the fact that the Padres have one of the better teams on paper and cannot perform. I mean, let's take a look at the Padres real quick. They're 56-54, which is basically the same record as like the Cincinnati Reds, but their roster is so much better than an average team like that. They should not be underperforming like this. They got Manny Machado and Tatis. My numbers say San Diego should win, but there's no way I am backing Walker Buehler, and there's no way I'm betting a San Diego Padres game. So that's my take on that. San Diego should win, though.
Yeah, again, I'll just come out and say it. I liked how this set up last night more for the Giants. They got crushed. If I knew Tyler Mahle was going to throw the ball the way he's thrown it the last few starts, like sort of since he came, I think he was, I got to remember off the top of my head, I believe he had an injury that cost him about a month. So yeah, he was out for about a month. Had a couple of like shaky outings since he's come back, but the last 3 starts for him have looked really good. Now I look at the I got to try to figure out how much I buy what I'm seeing over the last 3 starts, because if I knew I was going to get the Tyler Mahle that showed up against the Brewers last time out, or against the Rockies where he threw 7 innings of 1-run ball, then I'd be very much inclined to take a shot with the Giants here, because I too, Tokyo Brandon, am not a huge Walker Buehler guy. And I keep flip-flopping my opinion on this Padres team, whether it's like team that like hasn't played their best ball yet and has played well under their potential, or team that just simply isn't very good. And I don't know, man. We're in August now, and my gut tells me this team's just not that good. Outside of like having a couple of superstars, like, Tatis is playing better. He's got his OPS up to 759. Ty France, like, how long is Ty France gonna? I mean, maybe he's just having a career year. He's been their best player, but is it? Can we finally just say like Xander Bogaerts like sucks this season? Like it's just not happening. He's down at the bottom of the order. He's not really done much. I get like, again, like it's just the bullpen outside of like the super high leverage guys is not, outside of Morajan and Miller isn't as good as it was last year. So like, I think I'm back to being out on the Padres. So you know what? I'll just for the sake of giving a pick, I'll run it back with the Giants at plus money. I think if you get a good outing here from Tyler Mahle, you'll be in position to win this game. So I guess I like the Giants in this one.
Let me make a point about the Padres real quick. They have a lot of candidates to go to the New York Yankees, because the New York Yankees love to pick up guys after their prime. So Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, they got a lot of old guys. But what happened to Merrill? Guy was a rookie of the year, man. He was like, I forgot if he won rookie of the year, but he should have. He had a heck of a rookie season, disappeared. Tatis was amazing 4 years ago, disappeared. What's going on with these guys? Yeah. These guys were giving the Dodgers a run for the division championship 2 years ago. What happened to this team?
It's a great point. Tommy Turnbuckle makes a good point here, and I'll just speak on like how I sort of feel about like the home road split stuff. I am far less concerned with like home road splits for pitchers when you're pitching in a pitcher park on the road. So it's like, I'll take into consideration home road splits more if it's a guy that like, let's say it's a guy that pitches in Seattle, but now he's got to throw in Philadelphia or Colorado, like something that's like clearly a better pitcher park. But like Petco's always been so pitcher friendly that I'm just not that worried about like Mahle's numbers on the road. And, Tyler Mahle's like a veteran guy. So like this season for him, like to me, that sample is just too small to like put me off of like what my handicap would be if I wasn't considering that. So it's a good point. You should always take everything into consideration, but like here, that's not it's not going to like put me off thinking the Giants are the right side. So that's just to answer that question.
Can I interject and give my parlay leg game? It's a
Yeah,
game
go
we
ahead.
haven't covered yet. Would
Yeah,
you
go
mind?
ahead.
And you
Go
can
ahead.
scan the chat for the next game after this. But I just want to bring this game up because this is going to be my parlay leg. Sorry to hijack this show. Not my intention. But get a double play. 2 of us 3 days, all access, and catch my Sunday morning 9 a.m. Eastern baseball show on my YouTube channel. Those are my shameless plugs. I'm going to go to the Rays versus the White Sox game. So we got Drew Rasmussen and Jordan Hicks. And Hicks, haven't seen a lot of him since he pitched in San Francisco. Very up and down guy. And he hasn't, very small sample size. I don't like what I'm seeing from him. And I love Drew Rasmussen, especially when he's at home. The Rays are 40-7 at home. White Sox 24-30 on the road. And I expect to bounce back here. I've got the Rays ranked higher than the White Sox in almost every category. If not by just a little bit, I still have the Rays hitting better than the White Sox, even though I think the White Sox have more power. Bullpen-wise is where I see the biggest difference here. The Rays have the better bullpen, so I like the Rays on the money line, which is minus 170 or minus 160 in that range for my parlay leg. Again, I would not give out that money line for paid subscribers. That's kind of ripping them off to give such poor odds. But for a parlay leg, I think that's a pretty decent leg for a 2-leg parlay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard to, Rays coming off a loss. That's another one I kind of got wrong yesterday. Although in hindsight, I'm like, yep, there was the Nick Martinez regression that was probably always coming. Did come in last night's game. I just didn't think that was the spot it would happen, but that's what happened. He finally gets tagged for 6 runs in a start. The White Sox win. White Sox have some nice momentum right now, but like TB, I do agree with you here. I think this is the spot where I think maybe the luck runs out a little bit. They're going to go. It looks like Jordan Hicks, probably an opener here. It looks like they're going to start with Jordan Hicks, and then I think it's probably Noah Schultz after him.
Which is even worse than Hicks, in my opinion. Yeah, Hicks hasn't gone 3 innings so far.
No, that's a true. The White Sox have done the opener, so that's a true. Oh, Flopman's going to the game. He says, I'm going.
Oh, nice.
One on. I'm sorry. He's not. He says, I'm going -1 on Tampa. Sorry. I thought you meant you were going to the Trop. We had someone at the Trop the other day, but that was in the chat. Yeah. So Schultz is a guy that, like, I've definitely been more willing to fade him since he's got to the big leagues. I felt like he was very, very hyped coming through the minors, and he has not lived up to at least the lofty expectations that the White Sox and many people had for him since getting to the big league level. Now he's on the road against a Rays team that has the best record in baseball at home by a wide margin. It's not even close. So yeah, Rasmussen last time out, seven innings of 1-run ball, 9 strikeouts against the Guardians. I mean, it's hard to poke holes in anything he's done for years. Like, he's just been like so consistently good for like half of a decade at this point. So TB, I have no argument here. It would be raise or pass for me as well in this one. Price would put me off, but yeah, I mean, if you're just trying to pick a winner and put it in a 2-teamer, the Rays do make some sense bouncing back after last night's loss. Let me just go ahead.
As our chat said, as Flopman said, -1 would be a good play because you can chop about 40 cents off the price, and you don't lose if your team wins, even if they win by 1. Good suggestion. We have the smartest audience and the most generous audience of all Wager Talk shows, and headquarters is constantly praising us for how wonderful our audience and show is, even though they don't watch it. So cool.
I actually do think I do think they watch it occasionally. I do think they watch it occasionally. So
maybe Kelly.
Yeah, and Dan J right here. Good point. Listen, like, Rays now 2.5 games ahead of the Yankees. Like, I'm getting pretty close to the point where, like, I think, well, actually, with the Yankees lineup as it is right now, I think I got to bump the Rays to like my number one power rated team in the American League, because the Yankees, I know it's a short term, like it's not even that short term. Bellinger's going to be out for a while. Like I had to downgrade the Yankees significantly over the last, like, really since the Bellinger injury. That lineup looks just atrocious for the Yankees, to the point where I think you have to put the maybe, but right now, I think the Rays are that team. And I still, as you know, I still think the White Sox have some regression coming. Like we talked about it yesterday. I think I would sell the White Sox as like the team to make the playoffs, even though I was sort of pro White Sox coming into the season. I just don't know that they're going to have enough juice to get it done in August and September, and that may start here. So yeah, TB, I think you're onto something with that one. We actually did our 6 games already, so I am going to go back to that Red Sox game that we talked about, and I'm going to take that +1.5 because if we're just going to throw a 2-teamer in here, I think you can pair those two together. Listen, I think Rays are a good bet on their own. I think if the Dodgers took a little bit more money, the Red Sox +1.5 could be a play on its own. But as of right now, I can't really justify betting that straight at +1.5, -145. But for the parlay, I think it's fine. So that is a later game. So what I will tell you is this: the Dodgers, as we know, Tokyo Brandon, they'll take money as good as anyone, right? Like you know, this is a 9 p.m. game. You may see Dodgers money roll in throughout the day if someone quote unquote sharp decides they like the Dodgers. So this is what I'll have my eye on. If this price gets better, like even by 10 cents or so, I think I'll have to strongly consider the Red Sox +1.5 as an option. I don't think it's going to get better. I think -145 is probably as good as you're going to get for this price. So for this game. So we already did the full breakdown of that game. But that is going to be my leg of the parlay. I'm going to go Red Sox +1.5, and we'll call it -145, -150. I'll call it -150 just to be fair. But I think if you shop around, you can still get that in the 140s.
We need to cover one more game. We got a super chat from Alex Rand, and he wants to know if the Guardians -160 is a ridiculous price or not. So 1 minute to cover this, and then we will knock it down. But yeah, Parker Messick's going for. Sorry, I'm hijacking the show today. Adam's actually the host. That's all. And I'm like totally stealing it from him. Not my intention, but we're good. Adam and I get along great. So Parker Messick is starting, which is why this number is what it is. But I don't think this number is warranted, even with Parker Messick on the mound. Drake is not a horrible pitcher, just not a lot of sample size. The Guardians do have the much better bullpen, but the Diamondbacks have the much better batting. So I think those things kind of cancel each other out, and I think -160 is ridiculous, and you could spend your money better elsewhere. Adam will probably agree.
I do agree. Tokyo Brand, we have if you like your splits, go look at what the Diamondbacks do against left-handed pitching. They are one of the worst teams in the league against right-handed pitching, but they put up numbers against lefties. I'm not going to take an overpriced lefty against the Diamondbacks ever. That is, you're just asking for it right there. So yeah, Arizona got the big came through last night, ended up getting a hard fought win. By no means do I think Cole Drake is a better pitcher than Messick, and the Diamondbacks could give up some runs as well. But this Guardians offense does not really strike fear in anyone at this point. They're a pretty pedestrian offense. And Arizona tees off on left-handed pitching. So, with Messick being a lefty and the Guardians being like a little bit more forgiving from I don't know that they're going to just blow up at any opposing pitcher, makes me feel a little bit more comfortable with Cole Drake. Yeah, the Diamondbacks are absolutely the value here. That's a great call, TB. That is a good look right there. You can get +155 on Arizona. The way they hit lefties, I think that's worth a little bit of a flyer right there. So yeah,
it's all about the starting pitching. The books are only looking at the starting pitching because these teams are pretty equal as far as record is concerned. But the Diamondbacks by far have the better lineup. But Guardians by far have the better bullpen. So what are you going to do, right? So it looks like a tit for tat to me. So minus 160 seems ridiculous. Yeah.
Yep. So Alex Rand, good call. He was the one that brought it up, and TB and I agree with you. I think that is a very inflated price to back the Guardians. All right, we do have to get out of here though, because last call is on in about 5 minutes, and I will be on last call today. So I will try to talk about games that we did not talk about here. So I will try to bring some different games to last call. I think I got a 10-minute spot. So stay with us, jump in the chat there, and let us know what you want to hear about. Shout out to Freebird. We very much appreciate you guys tuning in 6 days a week. Tokyo Brandon's doing his thing on his own channel tomorrow. And then the three of us will be back on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. The parlay today is Tokyo Brandon Rays money line. I'm going to go with Red Sox plus 1.5, minus 150. Rays money line minus 165. Hit a nice little 2-teamer. We'll see you guys Monday morning. Have a great day, everybody.